morning. It's early in the morning. Okay, I've been thinking about these monuments that social justice warriors want to tear down, our Southern heritage or white heritage. And, like Andrew Jackson's statue and a lot of these statues and monuments, and tear down the names, and tear down the statues or the plaques or dedications, teaches you anything about us. But look, here's a problem too. You're doing a favor to people that want to cover up the past. You might be doing a favor secretly, not knowing, because one day when you tell your kids, yeah, you came from, you want to tell your kids, a long time ago you came here and had to be slaves, and these white people enslaved you, and they want to know, and they want to see these places. You're not going to be able to tell them and show them it. You're not going to be able to go down and see a statue of a person that was a slave owner, a president that was a slave owner, and show that there's growth in our understanding from then and now, and that was then and this is now, Also, you may be doing a secret little rub job, erase job for the Freemasonics to get rid of all their evidence and statues and stuff, to get started over, to reset everything again, because maybe they don't want their statues anymore. Maybe they want to go back underground with it all because it's out in the open so much. Who knows? But, don't be insulted by history, okay? Facts in history should not be what's insulting to you, okay? Should be insulted by people that want to erase your history, or want to, because one day, don't you think you want to be able to go to these places? That's what they're for, so we can go back and examine the way we were then and how we are now, and compare our mindsets and see where we stand. But you could be doing. So what you don't understand is, like I was saying, why don't you go to the St. Louis Cathedral then and go in there and tear down the statues of Jesus that they have up there? How about the people that are insulted by that? Do we have every right to tear those down? Those are abomination according to God's word. No, because they have free religion. Not only that, it's historical. Okay? Do I care for it? No. I like it knowing. Okay, this is what I like about it. As just a tourist, loving history, seeing the buildings, that's what I like about the cathedral. Okay? Just like basically everything in the French Quarter, it's eye candy. That's it. Doesn't mean you have to, it's a historical quarter. Understand, people? It's what brings the tourists there from other countries to learn about our history and our culture. They come here. You tear all that stuff down, you're making our culture not very rich. Our historical culture is losing value. Therefore, tourists won't like it as much because it's not with the real value. What are they going to do if they come to a place, say, Asian tourist comes and they want to see a place where, there's there's a, like a French Quarter where there was a slavery time, a time when there was slavery, and early time in American history, that they'd like to see, some monuments, some of the history, statues or whatnot, right? Figures, plaques, It's historical for a reason. And other people, not only are you robbing the people here, not only just white Americans or white Southern Americans, you're robbing Americans in general of history at some point, because you want to eventually you're going to take all the plaques down, all the things, and then there won't be no history. And then you can fill them all in with your own shit, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. But the point is, and Pharaoh Khan, and Jesse Jackson, and Muhammad Ali, and Al Sharpton, alright, these real heroes. Anyway, and I don't have a problem with you guys having your statues. That's the thing that pisses me off. I don't bitch and moan. We don't complain about your statues and you wanting to keep your statues, regardless of the character flaws we see in your people. We're not trying to rob you of that history, okay? You're trying to rob other people of their history. But not only is it whites and white Southerns that you're trying to rob, it's Americans in general, and then the rest of the whole world you're robbing of history. Because tourists want to see, they come to the French Quarter because it's called the historical French Quarter because there's history to it. And when people want to tour and visit, that brings in revenue to the state. Guess what? There's no monuments, there's no historical monuments, they've all been torn down. And you go there and there's just nothing there from the history. People are going to look around and be like, why'd I come here for? And there's nothing to learn here about anything. Well, I guess they, and then you look at, maybe you'll read a pamphlet somewhere that says, well, one time, a long time ago, there used to be monuments here, dedicated to people, but we don't know who they are because they got rid of them. So basically, one day, even your own children, say people that are Africans here in America, you're erasing their history, your future generations. This is their history, whether you like it or not, whether it's ugly, because of slavery or not. You're erasing their heritage, okay? You're erasing your heritage and our heritage, okay? Think of it that way. You may not like the characters, okay, in the story, but go through erasing all the characters in a story you don't like and then see how interesting the story is going to be and how much it makes sense to anyone. You can't go around just erasing characters in the history, okay? I don't know how much easier I can explain this. It shouldn't be hard to understand, but people have to first, you have to stop the hate inside first for a second, or at least not stop it, but don't let it rule your thought process. Don't let it override your ability to think properly, okay? Because I'm telling you, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter movements, and those kind of things, it is a psyop. You are doing what the white man wants you to, and you think you're doing independent work, okay? You think you're working independently as if, oh yeah, this is our deal, we're the people, we're the blacks out here making a difference. whoop whoop and all this stuff, right? Giving yourself props and everything. When it's some white Jewish guys controlling the string over you, okay? And it could be some white Gentile. It could be could be an Aryan. You don't know. You really don't know. Black Lives Matter could have been orchestrated by Aryans just to make blacks look bad. Since you want to blame everything that we do or allow you to do to a black man, a black man being perpetuated lies by a white devil, blue-eyed devils and all that, okay? Yes, we know that's how, we know a lot of black culture's taught that way, but there's also people that aren't taught that way. But when you come with this mentality already, it's hard to get over the emotional state that they put us in when we feel justified to hate, okay? But it's programming, part of it's programming, part of it's really how you've been raised, okay? If you've been raised that way, doesn't mean everybody raised a certain way is going to turn out perfect or right. Usually, but it depends on how you're raised. It's kind of like a pit bull. It's a great dog. Pit bulls have gotten such bad names because they've been used as gang-related animals, related to fighting, dog fighting, and betting on animal cruelty, and the other things that they do is they use them to protect themselves against other gangs and cops from breaking in their houses and stuff. So they make them vicious also. So a lot of people, and you hear all the reports about them that are bad, okay? But they're actually good dogs. They're really good dogs. And they were actually, for a while that was like the dog you wanted for your home. That was a family dog. And the perfect family dog was a pit bull, okay? American pit bull. And this is so much true, okay? Yes, they can be aggressive, and you want that, but only at the right type of time. You want them to know when is right and wrong, okay? So you have to train an animal, and you have to show it love and compassion. So it's not the actual animal, because a pit bull is a good-ass damn dog, but it's the owner, or it's the master, or it's the parent, or the trainer that teaches that whether the dog turns out to be a good pit bull or a bad pit bull. It really is up to the trainer, the owner, okay? So when blacks are raised up properly, they usually turn out to be better. And the problem is there's no fathers in the homes, and when the mothers in the homes are like, Tommy Sotomayor says, the mothers in the homes teaching their kids wrong and bad, how to be thugs, and they're not very good examples either. And no, I'm not trying to. What I'm talking about is the stereotypical, average black people, in the poor communities, okay? I'm not trying to stereotype everybody in these communities either, okay? Every black person is not this way. But a lot of times what I say is, unfortunately, stereotypes do often fit the case of majority of a lot of people. Stereotypes do fit, and you know it's true. You know it's true, just like I do. Like Jeff Foxworthy jokes and stuff about rednecks, you know. You might be a redneck, you might be a redneck, you know, if this, you might be a redneck if that. That's all funny and all that stuff, and a lot of the the things that makes it funny is because it's true. Okay, so let's not get that wrong. Now, does that mean every Southern white person born in a Southern state with Southern heritage is a redneck? You know, that wants to, you know, kiss his cousin and you know, has like all these rusty cars in his yard and all this stuff. No. Chews tobacco. No, it doesn't mean that at all. It just means the stereotype most of the time fits, you know. And then the other part of the stereotypes is they're like exaggerated to more to certain degrees, you know. But you know, you rob people of their identity. You can't rob people of their identity, whether it's a negative past or positive. Okay? And part of that is why it's called a historical land site, is because they're trying to preserve the history so other people can see what happened, get an idea, what did this person look like in action. Okay, moving along. Okay, I don't see really, you know, that's the argumentative side that people need to see about this issue, because once you start doing this, when there's no more of our statues to tear down, and they're gonna come after your statues. Okay. And so what you don't seem to understand is just freedom of expression. And there's a lot of people saying, that's just freedom of hate. Yes, but it's freedom. And, you know, you sitting there with your attitudes that way are the hateful ones that are actually more hateful. Because I'm sitting here having a calm conversation, you know, to... well, myself, I guess, because there's no one else in this room. Between me and God, I guess, or between me and YouTube, you know. Like I said, this is a journal, you know. So it's unscripted. My thoughts are my own. So if it sounds, you know, if it goes off this direction and that direction, sometimes it's not really like on purpose. It's just this is my journal, so I can go whichever way I want with it. This is my channel, do what I want here. But I just think it's sad. You know, it's sad that people's it's blind hatred. You know, if you want to have hatred, a real hatred, and stuff like that, you don't need to have a blind hatred. You need to be able to see why you have hatred. Why? What's the real cause of it? And you're hating white people. You just hate white people. You hate white people. That's okay. You're free to do that. It's okay. But it's how you express that out, or how you use that energy back outward. Is it going to affect your community in a good way or in a bad way? And does this make, in the history of things, does you think that you're going to look like the Justice Warriors by, you guys in the long run are going to look like the assholes with the Black Lives Matter? You know? You guys are saying you're protesting and you're rioting, okay? And you think it's such a you know, some kind of heroic thing, you know. And it's actually, it's cowardly, and like I said, you think you're doing this, you know, that this is an independent movement of your young black people are doing your duty and your honor to go out and do these things. In your mind, you might think that, but remember, like I said, remember, who's really your boss? George Soros, a rich white, non-white Jew, okay? That's really running your operation. It's white people that are funding your shit, okay? Is Black Lives Matter funded by black people? I doubt it. I doubt it. It's some rich white politician somewhere using you asses, using you guys, especially because it's election time. And it's Democratic liberals that are doing it. They're using you. You think it's justified, you think you're doing this task on your own, but you're not. You're not, because it's a rich white politician that is using you, using your votes, using you for your votes, using you as leverage against other opponents to get stuff, God knows what, passed, okay, in the name of social justice, okay? And what you don't realize is it's white people's plan. And you guys always talk about these white devils. You shouldn't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Why are you listening to this one? Why are you... And not me. I'm not talking about this one devil. No. George Soros. Okay? Why? And those people with him. Can't you see, because it's a political movement? Well, what side of the politics? I mean, who do you think is running at the top of the liberal ladder? Who do you think these people are? They're rich white people that are using you. They're using blacks. They're using whites. They're using Asians. They're using Hispanics, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Haitian, Filipino. They're using everybody. That's a problem that people should have with this. You think you're in a movement that's just helping blacks and social justice, and you're really playing into the hands of and being supported. Think about it. Where's your support coming from? Who and where? Who is supporting you? And you want to be anti-Illuminati and people in Freemason? And you're bowing into, you're falling in for this shit? You know it's some Freemason shit you're falling in for, right? And what are you getting out of it? Eventually you're going to get tracked down and arrested for this shit you're doing. Because they're going to keep your face on file if they want to arrest you, and they'll get your ass later. What do you get? Some peddly TV? You get a chance to feel free, run around on TV, on television, and scream and break shit, and feel like you got, justified for what? For your ancestors, because you got stuck in a shitty fucking neighborhood that you didn't like, where everyone's a fucking thief and a robber and a drug dealer and a fucking murderer, and then blame it all on everything on white people, but you're taking their platform they've made for you, this car that they've made for you to drive, this Black Lives Matter car with no brakes on a downhill. Okay? What do you think they've set this up for you for? For your benefit? You really think they're doing this for your benefit? These free white Masons and Jews are doing this, and Christian are doing this for your benefit. You really think that the support that comes from them? Now, I'm not talking about the ones that are brainwashed lower level with you marching. I'm talking about the higher ups that has orchestrated this shit. You really think they're out to help you? that in the long run, see, that goes against your own personal black community, inside thought processes, okay? Because you aren't supposed to be trusting that, because every time white man has something for you, there's a trap for you, see, according to a lot of your philosophy, okay? So, and there's some kind of CIA, thing to get rid of the black male, okay? Some kind of brainwashing, some kind of technique to make sure we keep you down, okay? That's what you've been preaching and teaching to each other. So, can't you get it through your head, the people that support you, you think you can trust these other white devils, that they have your best interest, right? That they really give a shit. No, you're just being used and you're being set up, and you're being set up for more bring down. This is not going to raise you up, help you up. This is not going to help you get any trust in any other racial category, because people are going to point out how ignorant and racist this is, and it's setting back your race, not advancing it. And those damn liberals know it. Those rich white Jewish Freemasons and Zionist Jews know it. They know exactly what they're doing by supporting you, and you shouldn't be falling for it, because you should know by your own philosophies that those white people has no good interest for you, that it's all a trap, it's all a setup, okay? According to your philosophies, so why can't you see through that and see through this black lies matter and white lies matter? White lies should matter to you. If these white people are messing with you to get your vote, to get a reaction out of you, and to do all these things, see, to manipulate you, and you guys are all about freeing yourself from this white Illuminati Freemason bullshit, you're always calling out us as, white devil Freemasons and all this stuff, then you would know, don't fall for this movement, because it's supported by these white Freemasons and Zionists, communists, and Jews, okay, that don't have your best interest. They don't have your best interest. They don't have your best interest. That's the problem you should have with this. Get with it, be independent. Don't take support from white people if you want to be a black movement, because you're going to get, number one, you're never going to know if you can trust the devil, the white devil, okay, according to your philosophy, so you're always going to wonder. Number two, it's never going to fully be your movement, because the people that fund you will control you and cut you off, and so you can never take full credit, okay, because in the long run people are going to say, well, Black Lives Matter, was it funded and fueled by blacks? No. The blacks were used in it, and it was George Soros, okay, that operated this. George Soros funded and operated this. So it's not even going to be in history, it's not going to even be accredited to anyone black. It's going to be a white rich Jew that probably really hates you, honestly. You see him hanging out with the black community all day? This poor black community? I doubt it. Yeah. It's like George Bush hanging out with me over here, or in downtown Barstow with some white people down on White Street, Anyway, it's look, it's not that I want to. I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to be a really. I'm not trying to be a stereotypical social justice warrior. I'm trying to point out if there's social injustice, let's see the real injustice, what it is, and then if you're in a protest or you're in a group, you got to see who really started and funds it, because the people that fund it don't have your best interest usually, especially if they're not of your color or group. That's just a fact. That's usually a fact. And you guys should know better according to your own philosophy. Don't trust any of these white lies and white devils, right? So why are you going to, because it seems cool and popular, you're going along with it? But it goes against your own philosophy that you shouldn't be trusting these white devils. And that's who set this political movement up. That's who's funded it. That's who's head of the operations is. It's not blacks. It's not black people. No, it's white liberals, rich white liberals using you as pawns to control you to whatever effect they want to get out of you, and to make you look victimized, but at the same time to stir up trouble for the controlled opposition. It's a psyop, alright? Is that love, Clark? Love, alright? I'm trying to love. This is real talk. I'm not trying to be insulting. I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings, I'm not trying to be, people to get personal with this. This is not be personal. This is just speaking outrightly, unscripted, and fairly, as a white American male that likes my own race and loves to see other races prosper in the right settings. Okay, I have no problem with other races. I like lots of things about all the races. Okay, there's, in nature, people don't appreciate certain things. They see certain things they don't appreciate. They say, "Oh, I hate flies." Well, God made those flies. Whether you hate them or not, God made them. Without those flies, it would be a stinky, disgusting, pretty much dirty, smelly. It would smell rotten. This whole world would, because their job is to clean up all the decay, leftover decay in flesh. So flies and maggots do the dirty work, and those are the ones that we hate. Okay, and they have a purpose. So, I don't know. I guess you can Google and Skype people if you want. It's not a, this is, I'm trying to reach the black youth, I'm trying to talk to you guys, because if you want to be part of something, you got to have your numbers right, and here I am talking about trusting white devils and stuff like that. And so, why should you trust me? I'm not asking you to trust me. Just listen. Use some damn common sense. Because I could be telling you some real truth here, and maybe I'm not the white devil you think, okay? Even if I'm racial, I got hurt because I'm trying to share the truth. I'm trying to share the truth about your movements. These movements are controlled by white people. They are not controlled by black. They are not controlled by black intent. Okay? So what white support liberal, politicians, you should know not to trust them at all. And your religiously voting Democrat has been throwing your votes away and your choices away for years. For years. because you didn't like the sound of the vessel, the look of the vessel, or the name of the vessels. Okay? And might I remind you, the Emancipation Proclamation written by the racist Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. Okay? It was Republicans. And the Democratic Party had just been as just as racist and racial as the Republican Party. They just decided in the 60s that they'd take advantage of the social movement going on there at that time with the black America and take advantage of you right then and there because they knew. Just like Constantine with Christianity, knowing it was becoming popular, change was in the air, and if you're not with it, then you got to get out of the kitchen. And he didn't want to have to, so he saw the opportunity and used it. You were used. You've been used, and that's sad. It's sad to have to say. And you call me all, you cuss me out, call me all these evil names you want about white honky, evil white devil, cracker, liar, thief, murderer, destroyer, all those things, okay? Satan, Lucifer, Hell, all those things. Call me it all if you want. I don't care, because I would not make a lengthy video about this like this and then get to this point in the video if I had no real care for people in general, okay? And no, to all my white friends that are racial, no, I'm not trying to kiss anyone's ass, and no, I'm not trying to be universal. But I do think that every race has the rights to live free within their means and bounds and their boundaries, okay? Within their means. With their own people at peace. Without propaganda against them. From either side, either way. Okay? And it should be the same for every type of racial person. If you want to love your race, it's okay as long as you're not white. Right? Is that how it is? If you're non-white, it's okay. But if you're white, it's wrong. And as other people have pointed out, if you're in such protest to the evil satanic white male, men and women throughout history, we're so evil. We are the spawns of the devil, and everything we've conceived and created has been created to destroy man, and created to destroy especially black male, right? Since we were born, the first things we thought of was, how can we kill black people? That was the first thing in our mind when we were a little baby. That was the first thing that popped in our heads, right? We're born this way. We just, we're born in a place where we've never even seen a black person in our lives, and we're born at we hate you already, and we never even seen one of you. There's some kids that are really in white neighborhoods, never seen a black person, don't know what a black person is, okay? This is sick. This is getting old. Okay? This is ridiculous. And I really do think you're setting your people back further, not advancing. This is not advancing you. You're being pawned, and then in the long run you're going to look like the assholes and at the end of the day. Okay? You get to be the fall guys, and then these liberal, rich, white liberals get what the hell they want out of you. And they get something, and you get jack shit. You got a TV, you got something you looted. You got to feel like you got to victimize a white person in a car, steal a car, whatever, burn something up and act wild and crazy. And that's what you got out of it. And then 6 months down the road, the satellite photos catch up with you guys, and half of you guys are in jail for it when Trump's in office or whoever. It doesn't matter. They'll catch up with you and put you in jail later for it. So, don't think that, don't get me wrong, if you had a real movement, then maybe, maybe I would have more props for it, support for it, but, any kind of racial movement, if it's in the right and it's for their own people, you can have a thumbs up from me, because each race should have a right to defend themselves and prop themselves up. But it's how they do it. It's the means. How they do it and why they're doing it. And who's behind it, And is it really right? And is it really them supporting themselves, or is it other people pulling their strings? Okay? You've been pulled. You've been led down the rabbit hole. They've been dangling this carrot in front of Black America for leading you down the road for I don't know, 60, 70, 80 years, with these, since Martin Luther King's time, okay. They've been leading you along with that carrot, dangling that carrot, and then the thing is if you ever woke up one day and said, I'm not a victim because I'm not gonna allow what they say about me saying that I'm inferior, I'm not gonna believe that. And I don't believe that. Therefore, I'm not gonna allow that to shrug it off. Know you're superior. If you know you're superior, you don't have to go around acting and proving it. Okay? That's the other thing. You don't have to go acting, trying to prove it. If you think you're superior, you're superior, then you are superior. If you feel inferior, then there's something inferior about you, whether you really are, or it's a mental inferior, or it's a problem that you got to get over, and then you can be superior. Okay? So the thing is, this is all a mental, it's a spiritual thing, okay? It's all up here. A lot of this is up here. And we all have to learn how to get along here, because nobody's going away. Nobody's going away. Give me a ticket to Europe. Please. Please give me a ticket to Europe. And let me exchange a home for a home. I'll trade. Just like if they were really offering African, Black Americans trips to Africa with the homestead, I'd be on that shit real quick. Because this place ain't going nowhere. And it has been doing shit for you. But see, that's what your philosophy, that's what you see. Nobody wants to see the good in any of it. So if we're such evil white devils and all this stuff, and we have such bad intent for you, put down all these, devices and things that we have invented. Although you say, well, you didn't invent the iPad, iPhone, that's all Japanese. Excuse me, look up the history of computers and robotics. We handed out the technology and showed them the shit, and they made shit for us and advanced it on their own. But we design this stuff. We come up with the concepts and stuff. And they take it and run with it, okay? That's their thing. But I'm not going to argue about inventions all day. My point is, you don't like the shit, stop using it. If it's so evil, if we have created everything evil, and everything we touch is evil gold, like a Midas touch, and it's a curse too, don't touch it. Put down the cell phones that we have set in place to sell satellite towers and all those kind of things, okay? Don't touch our Bible, because it was white people that, translated a lot of that stuff. Don't drive the car for God's sake. Don't drive a car, because it may, the modern car gets a take in America from Ford. was a white person. So, he must have had some kind of plan up his sleeve to get rid of the blacks with the car somehow, right? Because every intent of our heart is evil to destroy black, right? Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. By the way, those those sports events and stuff that you love? Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. Oh, those are white too. That you excel at, that you're making you rich because you're predisposed with the DNA of the best stock, working stock, because of inbreeding program, because of selective breeding in America through slavery. You get to benefit from all these side benefits from eugenics programs. The white slave owners were doing eugenics with the black slaves. Now you guys all get to benefit. So we made America stronger in one way or another. But with Tommy Sotomayor, here's what he thinks. That they're cowards. It also bred in most of the cowards because your ancestors should have either fought to the death or ran off, tried to run away and get away. But because they didn't get away or didn't fight to the death, that they were chickens and cowards. So we might have bred people with high ability, but they're chickens and cowards. So maybe that would explain a lot of the Black Lives Matter movement crap too. Anyway, so I hope that you Black Lives Matter and White Lives Matter people get it together, because this is all just political, Freemason, Zionist, communist bullshit. Overhead, rich, white people controlling everything, but it's not just because they're white, they're satanic, okay? They're satanic, so they include anyone in the club. Freemasonics do not. Yes, they created the KKK and a lot of these organizations, but they don't discriminate against race. That's part of their policy. It's part of their policy. They don't discriminate against race. Nope. Alright, it's Love Clark. Think about this stuff. I want to make this video out of hatred. I make it out of love. Alright? Love you guys. Love.